Okay, Salakia. So we're back. We're at number 8. It says shellfish is treated as dirty by many religions, Judaism, Christianity, and others. There's a reason why books like the Bible teach that shrimp is unclean, so it may be best avoided. And like I said before, when my video got interrupted, Christianity don't teach that these things are dirty and filthy, man. They teach that these things are now cleansed and now you can eat. But the Bible doesn't say that. Okay, so verse 9, it says shellfish is known to be a barrier of food illness such as E. coli, Salmonella, the Norwalk virus, and hepatitis A. Shellfish is a bottom feeder and feeds on the sewage and waste that are thrown into the ocean. So, like I said before, these different things, uh, uh, these are sea cleaners. Okay, they help clean the ecosystem. That's their purpose. Everything was purposely made for their own purpose, and these different things were made to clean the ocean and clean the seas. Hence, that's the reason why they are so dirty and filthy looking now. Part of the reason. Verse 10, it says shellfish increases the risk of health problems among those with medical conditions, people with altered iron, metabolism, liver disease, and diabetes often have much more sensitive digestive systems, and eating shellfish can expose your digestive system to many more risks. Shellfish is usually cooked, but it's not difficult to cook it properly. The fact that it's difficult to cook means that you can often be exposed to undercooked shrimp, crab, and other shellfish. It's the raw seafood that contains the most contaminants, and undercooked shellfish is definitely unhealthy. Shellfish is highly perishable and it can spoil very easily. Once the shellfish has spoiled, it can be much more hazardous to your digestive health. You'll find that eating shellfish when it is even just slightly spoiled can lead to serious bacterial infections and food poisoning. So it's very important to avoid eating shellfish unless you're 100% sure it's fresh. You're not supposed to be eating this garbage unless it has fins and scales, man. Period. Okay? Going back to the scripture. What do the scriptures say? Leviticus 11, verse 9. These shall you eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters. In the seas and in the rivers, them shall you eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers of all that move in the waters, and of the living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. They shall even be an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcass in abomination. Carcass is an abomination. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination to you. So you are not allowed to eat these things. Okay, let's get one more. And we can close out. Here we go. And it's from foodbeast.com. It says lobster used to be the cockroach of the sea and only fed to servants and cats. Lobster was a sign of poverty. I don't know how true that is, but it's funny because it probably was. So let's read a little bit of this here. It says, when someone says lobster, some words that might come to mind are delicacy, fancy, luxurious, and most dismissively market price. However, it wasn't always this way. Formerly regarded as the cockroach of the sea and fed to servants, migrants, and even people's cats, lobster was the laughing stock of seafood. Regarded as a dish fit only for the poor, even having lobster shells in your house was looked upon as a sign of poverty. Yet today, lobster is seen as the pothast of the posh, the cousin of the caviar. So how the hell did this happen? Oh, it starts with the industrialization. When the railways began to expand across America, transportation managers realized that if no one apart from the people who lived on the coast knew what lobster was, trains could serve it in inland passengers as it was as if it were a rare exotic item. This plan seemed to work as people started to demand lobsters beyond the railways, and it didn't hurt that around this same time, in the late 1800s, chefs discovered lobsters taste much better when cooked live. Restaurants too got the memo. Then during World War II, lobsters weren't rationed like other foods, and so people of all the classes began to eat it and discover its deliciousness. By 1950s, lobster established itself as a bona fide luxury food item. So what have we learned here? Lobster itself never changed over time, but rather the perceptions and attitudes of the people towards lobsters, right? Same with the shrimp, the crawfish, you know, what else? What's that? The calamari, you know? Same with all these other items. But rather the perceptions and attitudes of people towards lobster that drove the change in the consumer behavior. Nowadays, lobster holds a place as one of the most expensive items at a restaurant or reserved for special occasions only. That being said, we bet it only for a few more years till Spam becomes the filet mignon of red meat. And Spam comes in a can, and that's complete garbage, man. But the point is, these different things, you know, are filthy, man. They're abominable, and you're not supposed to eat these things. You know, period. Let's get this in the law real fast too. Because a lot of you say, well, the Lord came back and he done away with the law. That's not true neither. Let's get that real fast. Matthew 5 verse 17. It says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." So what did the Lord come to fulfill? Came to fulfill the prophecies that was spoken of him. Verse 18 says, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall not in no wise pass away from the law till all be fulfilled." So there you have it, man. There you have it. So the law was never done away with, man. The law was never done away with. And you people put it in your own mind, that you can eat these things, which you're not allowed to eat. Okay, so let's see what the Lord was speaking of regarding precept of Matthew 5 verse 17, Luke 24 verse 44. It says, and he said unto them, "These are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me." Okay? So, hey, man, that's the point, we went over that, along with swine, along with pork, you're not supposed to eat, the different things that move upon the waters that doesn't have fins and scales. Okay? And, we went into the brief, a health lesson about it, too. So, hey, there's no reason for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, if you ever come across this video, to continue